Today's video is sponsored by Unspun, a certified B Corp building ultra-sustainable and custom-built jeans from 3D iPhone scans. Sign up as a beta tester today and get a $40 gift card towards your first pair of jeans in exchange for your feedback and advice.
I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield.
I'm Kate Walton-Elliott.
This is our review of the Genesis GV60, complete with fancy orb. So, Kia EV6, Hyundai IONIQ 5, Genesis GV60. From an engineering point of view, they're all built on the same platform. They all have the same 77 kilowatt hour battery pack. They all have the same motor placement, either rear wheel drive or all wheel drive. This version, the GV60 from Genesis, has the most powerful motor setup pairing that it's possible to have. So this car has a boost mode, Kate. You press it, oh my word, that is fast, and it unleashes all of the power that this motor has. It lasts for 10 seconds, so it's something like 480 horsepower.
Yeah, I think it's 483, 360-ish kilowatts.
And that is through two motors, the front wheel drive and the rear wheel drive. And to activate the boost mode, you have to move your thumb all the way down to the bottom of the steering wheel and press the green button that activates boost mode. Now, like the rest of the same platform vehicles, the Kia EV6, the Hyundai IONIQ 5, they all have eco mode, they all have a sport mode. This car doesn't have an eco plus mode or a super efficient mode.
Not one that I could see from my quick play with the infotainment and driver head unit.
But like every other e-GMP based car, you can actually change your vehicle settings here and you can customize it. I like that this is really responsive, and we'll come to that in a little bit. But I want to critique the location of that boost button. It's essentially the same steering wheel that you're going to find on the Kia EV6 GT, just with different buttons on it. And most people like holding their steering wheel at 10 and 2. You are kind of at the moment a bit half past 9 and 150.
Yeah, not quite. I'm not. There we go.
There you go.
There you go.
But if you are holding your steering wheel at that position, right, and you need to access that extra power to overtake someone, there are two critiques I have of the boost mode. The first one is that you only get 10 seconds. So you press it, it gives you 10 seconds to get that extra boost of power, that extra torque to overtake someone, to get out of trouble, whatever it happens to be. Because of that, you would think that the button would be a lot closer to your thumbs so that in an emergency you could get out of trouble. But no, it's all the way down the other end of the steering wheel. It's kind of like at 4 o'clock on the steering wheel.
It sort of encourages you to drive like this.
It encourages you to grip the bottom of the steering wheel.
Yeah, with your hands low down. And I know that is a pretty common placement for some people when they have cruise control on. And it's obviously, there are questions about the level of safety when you're doing that. But yeah, if you want to have access to it, you have your thumb there, which is kind of the worst place if you then engage boost mode.
Absolutely.
It's a weird decision.
Now, just like the rest of the e-GMP platform vehicles, we've got regenerative braking control via the paddle shifters on the steering wheel. That is the same as it's been for every Kia and Hyundai I can think of, actually, for some time. You have iDrive on right now, which gives you access to single pedal driving.
Yes.
So when you lift off the accelerator pedal, the car will brake to a stop. That's all very similar and very familiar. And because we've driven the EV6, because we've driven the IONIQ 5, I don't want to kind of spend a huge amount of time talking about those features because they're pretty much the same. The only difference between those cars and this car is that the switchgear is fancier.
Yes, it is.
It's a higher quality.
It definitely feels nicer.
Which it should, because you're paying more for it.
Yes, absolutely.
And the presence of the boost mode, the presence of the more powerful front-wheel drive motor compared to, say, the all-wheel drive EV6 or the all-wheel drive IONIQ 5 gives you that GT-like performance. I think that's going to be very addictive for a lot of people.
I can see a lot of people having a lot of fun with it. I can also see a lot of people parking their car in a tree with it. So,
if you're like me and you are a bit differently shaped, you'll know the pain of trying to find clothes that fit, especially if you value your free time and hate shopping. But why spend hours at the shops when you can get clothes custom made and shipped to you that will fit you perfectly and last you longer than any other jeans you've owned? Enter Unspun. It's a US-based clothing company looking to revolutionise the way we think about the clothes we wear using the latest technology to make custom, sustainable jeans that fit so well they'll become your favourite go-to clothing choice in no time. Unspun's mobile app uses a built-in Face ID sensors of Apple's latest iPhones to create a detailed 3D scan of your body, which it then uses to craft a perfectly fitted pair of jeans to your chosen specifications. And if you happen to be within easy reach of one of Unspun's stores, well, you can just drop in to have one of Unspun's trained assistants help you get the custom fit you deserve. Pick the colour, the thread and the style you want, and Unspun does the rest. And because every pair of jeans are custom made, it eliminates the majority of wastage associated with garment manufacturing. Right now, Unspun still cuts parts from traditional bolts of fabric, using any offcuts to produce denim insulation for homes, but its ultimate goal is to produce custom woven jeans for each person. And unlike many brands out there, there are 0 sweatshops involved. When I was looking to buy my last pair of jeans, I couldn't find any on the rack that fitted me well, and I decided to give Unspun a go. I really loved that I could get measurements without leaving my home, and a few weeks later, I got what I can only describe as my best pair of jeans ever. Normally, Unspun jeans start from $200, but if you follow the link below and promise to give your feedback, you will get $40 off your first pair. So make sure you check them out, because I'm glad I did.
So while we have access to the boost mode, Kate, we have all that extra power, which is wonderful and fun and lovely. It doesn't have a particularly good range given the battery pack size when compared to the IONIQ 5 and the EV6. It's like 230, 240 miles of real-world driving if you have all-wheel drive and performance mode and boost and you make use of it a lot. Probably less, in fact. But this car has a trick up its sleeve. Thanks to the motor choice from the e-GMP platform, you can turn off the front motor and basically not use it when you're in eco mode. And you were saying earlier that the car uses that front motor to get you going and then turns it off.
yeah, as I understand it, if you are at a standstill, it will use that front motor to give you a little bit of a nudge off the line so you don't feel quite so slow. But then once you're moving, it turns it off completely and disconnects it.
Now, I haven't experienced this because we haven't taken this on a track. That wasn't in the agreement when we borrowed the car. But apparently this also has a drift mode.
Yeah, it has a semi-locking rear differential.
So you can turn off the front motor and you turn it into a rear-wheel drive car with a huge amount of power going to the rear wheels, and then you can make it go sideways around corners, which seems very excessive, but also oh so Gangnam.
It does. It's a weird decision for sort of a kind of luxury vehicle. It's like if you had a Rolls Royce and it had a nitro button on it.
That said, though, I wouldn't say don't buy this car because of that, because the execution on the freeway especially is great. You've got the standard highway assist functionality that you get across the entire Hyundai Kia family these days, lane keep assist. You've got very, very good adaptive cruise control. You've got pre-collision braking, all of that good stuff. And like all of the other Hyundai Kia family of vehicles and Genesis vehicles, if you're on a straight road, although it doesn't have hands-free driving, it pretty much looks after itself.
Yeah, it feels like it does. And this is really where this car is most at home. The suspension on this kind of road feels well sorted. You feel very comfortable. You kind of waft along more or less. And it just is a very comfortable, smooth ride.
I think that also is indicative of the type of people that Genesis is targeting this car to. People who want to have a higher end premium feeling car that maybe don't want to go to the European marques. They don't want a BMW. They don't want an Audi. But they want something that can be practical. And I think because of the platform this car is based on, because of the fact it's got 800 volt rapid charging, it means that it's a very practical daily driver. That doesn't mean, though, that there aren't some really bizarre choices.
I'm intrigued to know what you're thinking of as a bizarre choice.
The first one is this crystal.
Don't touch the crystal sphere. You know you should not touch the crystal sphere.
I'm
And you
touching it.
don't taunt it either.
I'm touching it.
The crystal sphere here is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. There's no other word for it. And I mean, I'm highly amused by the fact that it turns over to present the drive selector to you, as though to go, yes, master,
Would you like to drive?
Yes. But the thing that does concern me is that at some point it'll break, and if it breaks, then it's probably broken the wrong way up, and you're stuck then. But then if you're spending nearly $70,000 on a car, then is that a concern that you really have?
No, I mean, we're driving through a very, very exclusive part of Portland here, the West Hills, where most of the houses have several $1 million worth of stuff. And I think this car would be very much at home in this kind of affluent neighborhood where you're kind of very, very much in the suburbs still, but you're not driving fast. You're driving on the freeway or you're driving here. This car has a fingerprint scanner, and the fingerprint scanner is designed so that you can set it up so that you can unlock the car just by looking at it, and it will unlock, it will recognize your face, and then it will let you drive it just by you scanning your finger on the little fingerprint scanner there. Well, it's not worked the entire time we've had the car, and it's only got 4,000 miles on the clock. And I like technology. I like phone as a key. I like the idea of not having to carry around car keys with me all the time. But it's got to work. It can't... It's not a technology that you... I mean, can you imagine going out somewhere without your car keys? And then the car unlocks and then the fingerprint scanner just goes, No, I'm not going to let you drive. You were not nice to me.
That would be tricky, to say the least.
It would be very tricky and very frustrating, and I suspect that it would be a big problem for anybody who wanted to drive this long term. The visibility in this car is really good. I like the fact that I can see the mirrors very easily without really moving my head. A lot of cars, kind of, you have to look out and through to get a really good mirror placement. And those mirrors remind me of the Porsche kind of oval motif. And can we just acknowledge, looking back there right now, this car's got beautiful hips.
It does have beautiful hips. The styling on this car is really well done. It's quite understated in some ways and aggressive in others. It's a really interesting combination, and I feel like they've done a very good job with it.
And unlike a lot of EVs, I do feel like I can really figure out where the car is going. There's a lot of indication from the front wheels. I know where my wheels are at all times. The steering lock on this car is a bit rubbish.
Yeah, the turning circle is barge-like.
But when you're actually at speed, I think probably it's got some adaptive steering assistance here that gives me a much better idea of what's going on. But look, this boost mode is built for this.
Ugh.
And that noise is just like a Formula E race car.
It is. It's one of the better ridiculous noises.
So the steering, I think, has some kind of speed adjustment to it. It does seem to fall around the corners quite nicely. At low speed, though, it is an absolute barge to manoeuvre, as you said to me earlier on today. On a road like this, though, it's very good. The only criticism that we have is the fact that the suspension is a bit firm. And maybe it would benefit from having adjustable suspension that is either dynamic based on what type of road you're on, or is user settable.
I think that's definitely true. You get it's an interesting combination of being firm and yet not firm enough for the weight, because the car rolls quite a bit and it lollops around, particularly if you push it hard. I mean, at these kinds of speeds it's not too noticeable, and I did push it deliberately quite hard earlier, and at that point the handling wasn't unpredictable because it has enough tyre to hold it to the road, but it was definitely not good. It was uncomfortable.
Yes, this is a car that's designed to be driven in that way. It's a car whose performance is one of its key selling features. But unlike the EV6 GT, which is all about performance, this is about performance and opulence. I think all cars should have that. And it also has a very excellent head-up display. It's the same head-up display that you'll see in the other e-GMP platform cars. And I know I keep saying that a lot, but it's really difficult to review a car on its own merit when we've basically driven its twins.
Yes.
Or its triplets.
Well, I mean, it's sort of a comparison between all three, isn't it?
You know, in terms of information available to you, it's very clear and easy to see. You are able to customize that information in whichever way you want, and that's very good. It's a car that you can show to your friends and family and go, look, I've got a nice car. Without someone going, wow, look at you. You just bought the new Mercedes-Benz. You must have extra money. It's kind of, you've arrived and this is a nice car and it's a nice experience for you, and you're buying it for you. You're not buying it necessarily to be a show-off. How about that?
Yeah, I think that's actually a very good summary of it. It gives you the experience without necessarily giving you the ostentatious wealth.
Right. It's I've done well in my life and I'm happy about it, versus look at me, look at how much money I've got. I'm loads of money.
I think it also speaks to someone who's making a decision that's still based in the practicality of the vehicle, because this is, at the end of the day, a very practical car.
We came, we saw, and we drove.
Yes, we did.
Did you enjoy it?
I think it's a very plush interior, and it's a very pleasant place to be, which is a very car review thing to say. But I'm not sure it's my favourite drive.
If I had to choose between the EV6, the IONIQ 5 and this, based on the vehicles that we've driven this year, I would definitely go with the IONIQ 5.
Yes, I absolutely. The all-wheel drive version of the IONIQ 5 is definitely my favourite do mostly everything vehicle. This is a good second choice. It really is. And if you want something that's a bit more plush, a bit more, not exactly ostentatious, but lets people know that you have a little more money to spend, then this is a really nice choice. Just don't expect to throw it into roads with sharp corners and come out the other side comfortable.
I would like to take the suspension and the handling of the IONIQ 5 and put it on this.
Yeah.
And I think then I would be happy. This has clearly got a different suspension setup, but I think also it might not just be the suspension.
It might be the shoes. I mean, they are pretty though. I will give them the wheels.
Pretty as they are oversized. They soak up every pothole, every bump. And I think if I could put 19-inch wheels on this with maybe a little bit more tread, a little bit more depth on the sidewall, I'd be a lot happier.
I think the ride would be a lot better. I'm not sure that would help with the lollopy nature of the way that it handles corners, because it has a lot of extra weight from all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's got all the extra stuff. That crystal alone must weigh at least a small child.
Yes, yes. But you must not taunt the crystal, and you should store it refrigerated. I say this of all the e-GMP based cars, I think they're really well judged. I think Hyundai Kia have done an excellent job with the design of this platform and with the way they've structured the offerings that they're making using it.
What I really want to see though is if they can replicate this further down the line. They've got one platform. What about the next platform? And the platform after that? And the platform after that? If they can reproduce the success of the e-GMP platform with other platforms and other market segments, the Hyundai Kia Genesis brand or brands are going to be hard to beat for a lot of drivers. 800 volt rapid charging, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
It is, but yes, we want to see smaller, cheaper cars.
Yes. So, not for us, because it's too expensive for what it offers. My more expensive vehicle offers more than this. I think that's how I'm thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Would I recommend, if you're considering a Model Y, taking a look at this? Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
In fact, I would recommend this over a Model Y.
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair, charging experience accepted.
Yes.
At the moment, hopefully that will be fixed. I would take this.
It's a much more, it's not as sterile an experience.
No.
It's got a little bit more character.
It definitely has.
The Model Y drives better on corners. It has a better power delivery. But I think at the end of the day, this is a better all-rounder. And I suspect that if you damaged or broke this, you'd get it repaired more quickly than if you had the Model Y. Final thoughts though. This is a compliance car. Let's not beat about the bush.
Yes, it is. It's not available in every state. In fact, it's barely available in any states.
And we should mark it down for that.
Yes.
If you're watching and you're someone from Genesis, you can't make a car and then make it available in half a dozen states. That's so 1990. I mean, really?
It is.
That's the same kind of bovine byproduct that GM pulled with the EV1, that Toyota pulled with the RAV4 EV, that various other companies have pulled over the years. And this is the year, 2021, 2022, was the turning point where car companies went from, yes, this is a very small launch market vehicle, to no, we're going to make this available everywhere. Ford made the Mustang Mach-E and the F-150 Lightning available everywhere. GM is like, the Bolt's going everywhere. The Silverado is going everywhere. That's what we need. In order for us to get true mass electrification, we need to stop with the launch market nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
But hey, it's got a neat little gear shifter.
Don't taunt the crystal orb.
That's it for today. If you like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and sharing it with your friends and family. And don't forget to leave your thoughts below or in our free to join Discord chat room. There are links in the video description.
And thanks to Unspun for sponsoring today's video. Become a beta tester today at the link below to get $40 off the best pair of jeans you'll ever own.
And if you really liked this video, why not leave us a super thanks? It's easy to do, and everything you do send our way goes towards helping us make more awesome content. If you haven't already, make sure you have subscribed to this channel and to our other channel, Transport Evolved Take 2, and give that bell a gentle ding to be told when our next video goes live. Thanks on behalf of the entire crew go out to everyone who makes this channel possible. That includes everyone who supports us on Patreon and YouTube, as well as those of you who watch the video and share it with everybody you know.
If you're a supporter at the charged up level, you'll see your name here on our right. And if you just joined, we're sorry if your name isn't showing yet. We render the list out every week or so, but sometimes our videos are produced a couple of weeks in advance. Thanks to our self-driving tier supporters, Chris Maxwell, Pedro Muro Pinheiro, Patrick Boyarski, Bennett Elder, Brian Newton, David Kitchen, Michael Goad, Ricky Leong, Andrew Martin, Guido Drahota, Brophy Wolf, Tesla in the Gong, Gordon C., Stephen O'Donoghue, Kyle Hodgson, Anthony Coates, Regine Fellows, Dan Blair, Jim Burness, Chris Ascenta, Chris and Michael Johnson, Peter Dillinger, and Denny Hyde. And of course, out of this world thanks to our Starman supporters, Anonymous Freak, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, Rory Litwin, Joe Bresney, Reed R, JP Fagerback, Russ, Will Graylan, Matthew Drobnak, Kevin Burrowbridge, John Lyons, Andrew Glenn, Paul Conway, Laura Reynolds, and of course,
Bob.
Ian. No. Bob.
Ian.
Want to be part of this amazing list? You can join Patreon at the link below, hit the join button below to support us on YouTube, or show us your support through Bitcoin, Ko-fi, or our cool swag store. Links are all down in the description.
You know, Bob's a really strange name for a girl.
Yeah, it's short for Kate.
And if you are wanting to support us and you're unable to, just know that watching the video and sharing it really does make a difference to our ad revenue. Thanks for joining us, and as always, keep
evolving.
evolving.